Hello, Taurus. I am Ulrich. I'm a Lenormand card reader, but this time we will use a financial deck for your card reading. The deck contains 44 cards, and the laying is done with 3 cards you see here in front of me. You can also see 4 objects here in front of me on the table, meaning we will do 4 readings for each astrological sign for this month of July 2021. And this card reading here is specific for the sign of Taurus. From these 4 objects you see here, you choose one or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you pick one that you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation or the advice that you are receiving from the cards regarding that financial situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos related to the Taurus sign, and after you've watched the 4 videos, then you can decide what symbol or object is fitting your personal card reading or financial situation the best. The matches that you see here, they represent the fire group. The stone represents the earth group. The aerosol sprayer represents the air group, and the shell represents the water group. So these are the 4 groups we are making for Taurus. So here we go, Taurus, for your reading for July 2021. Hello, Taurus, and welcome for your card reading July 2021. And this card reading is related to the fire sign or the matches group. So the first card you see here, it means deals. What does this card tell us? Well, probably you like a satisfaction if you buy a discounted item. Maybe you check out the sections of liquidation or for getting discounts, whatever. It can be on a piece of clothing or something that is maybe not so important for you. Anyway, it also can mean that you want to buy a product for a ridiculous amount. The question here is, or the thing that this card tells you is that you need to understand every time you buy an item that is discounted, you will only get a good deal if you're actually able to buy if that item is lower priced than the full price. So be aware of discounts that not what they seem to be. Don't be overwhelmed, don't be bewitched by sales. Keep yourself cool and question yourself. Then the question that follows out of this, do you really need this article? If you always look for certain discounts, maybe you spend a lot of more money than you have anticipated. And is this really necessary? Also, some people here, this card also says that some of these people in this group will be the ones that buy in bulk. They buy big amounts, they buy big things, a lot of stuff at the same time, because they get discounts if they buy in bulk. And then, of course, at the end of the month, the thing expires, or they see themselves throwing it away or giving it away to a neighbor, to a friend, to a family member. So the question that this card asks you, are you really economizing this way? It also tells you not to stock or overflow your house or your stockroom with and accumulate things that you don't really need. Especially if you see yourself or you catch yourself later bringing them to secondhand stores or to a recycling depot. This card tells you to ignore discounts, liquidations, and it tells you if you do so, if you control yourself, that your financial situation will improve. The second card that we see here, it means probably that in the period to come or recently, you have received some money, maybe a bonus from your work. In some way, this is a bonus that you get, or somebody did you a favor, financial favor. These are financial favors, gifts that you get from somebody. Mostly they are financial, so they can be related to an employer or somebody who gave you a financial gift. Maybe it's your yearly bonus that you receive, or whatever the context is. These amounts, of course, are welcome for everybody, and everybody likes to have them. But the question that this card asks you, it's fantastic to get them, but what do you do with this money? The problem is that if we get these sums of money, we tend to spend it even before it reaches our actual wallet. What do we do with it? Well, some of us have debts on credit cards, on debit cards, or some of us buy gifts for people, or they make themselves enjoy. They go to a parlor, they take a small trip, they enjoy themselves in a nice restaurant, they buy themselves. They use the money for making a deposit on a new article. So this is what this card asks you not to do. This card asks you, instead of spending this money before receiving it, to put it in a savings account, to keep the money. And let it stay there for a while. Let it stay there for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It will not run nowhere. It will stay in your account. By taking this break from spending it, it will make you think about the exact amounts that you received and the optimal use of these bonuses. And also, you will not be impulsive to spend it. Because sometimes if we spend it and we give, for instance, a deposit on something else, we get even more in financial problems, or we come into places financially where we don't want to go. But I must say these cards are positive. I'm just giving an example. So this card tells you actually to save if you have bonuses, to let them rest. The last card is actually in good configuration with the other two, because this card means it tells us for automatic savings. Most of us know what automatic savings are, but I will explain it anyway. For instance, we have our salary and we decide to save a certain amount every month. So we go to our bank and we place an order in our bank, and every month at a certain day, a certain amount of money goes into the savings account. You can do that yourself also by your laptop or by your phone, and give the order for saving every month a specific amount of money. This is what this card tells you. Of course, you first need to decide on the amount that you can miss and incalculate it in your budget, and make sure that you can sustain with this amount monthly. It will take some time to get used to this discount and give it its place, because it's a little bit unnatural that the money goes from the account and it goes in another account. It will take you 3 to 6 months like that to get used to it. We need to incorporate it in our budget. But after 6 months, you will see you will get used to it. And then maybe you think, oh, I'm surprised I can handle this. And maybe you think about the savings that you have for increasing the amount with a small amount. Or maybe you, at the end of the year, you think, oh, I wanted to invest already for a long time in this or in that project, or I wanted to use it for this or that. And then you can actually do the thing. Also, you can save it for a rainy day, or you can make some kind of pension fund, whatever your project is. or a renovation project or a trip that you already longed for a long time. So this can get you there. By regularly increasing these amounts of money, you will see that you quickly save important sums. You will be surprised of your own results. So this card urges you to set up this account, discipline yourself, and begin the virtuous circle of financial stability and security. So we summarize. The first card, this tells you to ignore certain deals, and if you used to buy in bulk for savings, not to do so. It tells you to ignore certain discounts and just pretend they are not there. If you have received bonuses, financial bonuses, or you are about to receive them, or you receive them on regular basis, just use those bonuses for your automatic savings. This is what this card laying actually tells you for the month of July. It's like a process maybe that can start now. So this is the card reading for the month of July for the sign of Taurus, for the matches group or the fire group. So Taurus, I hope you enjoyed my card reading. If you do, thank you and see you next time. Hello, Gemini, and welcome to the group, the Stone group or the Earth group for July 2021. So we start with the first card here. This card means accomplishments or achievements. So probably you've been working hard in the last period of time, and all the things that you worked hard for, it begins to bear fruits. You are persistent and you continue to pursue. So here you are about to see the changes of your hard work. But this card also tells you you need to, maybe you are not progressing enough or not fast enough or financially fast enough according the work that you invest. But this card tells you you need to be happy with the small progress that you make, with the modest victories that you accomplish. It also tells you that accomplishments are not and success are not necessarily related to the whole society. So put yourself, see yourself in perspective and don't compare yourself to others. You need to highlight your own position and the positive transformations that you are personally experiencing, not what others experience. This is about yourself, your own accomplishments, your own progress that you are making. This also tells you you need to persevere on the long term. You cannot stay as you are. You cannot stay conservative, and if you progress now, you need to adjust. You need to be open-minded for continuing making your progress. Don't get trapped in the same system, in the same things that you do. Try to see new points of view, new lights for getting ahead. Sometimes it's dangerous that we get stuck. If you don't improve enough, according to your personal opinion, just try to see these new roads as maybe more possible for better improvements. It's like, if it's not working anymore, don't keep it for old time's sake. Just change the system. This is what this card is saying. If it works, it's fine. And if it delivers what it promises, that's fine. If it's not, it's time to maybe reform it. We need to modify it. Also, it tells you if the progress is slow, not to be discouraged. Maybe it's a very specific and individual path that you are following. Maybe it's a very slow path that you are following. Don't be discouraged, because the path is good. There is growth here. If you're not convinced that you're moving ahead, just write it down. Write your changes down since you started this business or this work, and write it down and see how your achievements, how you advanced, regardless small or big. It makes no difference. A small or a big success, it don't exist. It's the amalgamation of all these changes that will create a lasting change and make a difference, especially in your life personally. It doesn't matter, it doesn't relate to all. It's you who need to make the change. So this card tells you you need to appreciate the small progress or the progress that you make, and you need to keep persevering. You will get there. This is what this card tells you. The next card here, you see here, the holidays are mentioned. It mentions Christmas, Easter, and Saint Valentine. So these are all holidays. How do we place in context? Well, we're first gonna enlighten the card in a separate way. So this card tells us that celebrations in general, like Christmas, Easter, Saint Valentine, have become very commercial. It's not a question why not to buy flowers or chocolate for the loved one. It's a question how much we buy or how much we invest in that one. It tells us that maybe the whole society, and maybe you included here, Taurus, that you lost track of the real reasons from these whole festivities, the essence, that you lost the essence. Maybe you're very generous and you're overspending to it. And it doesn't matter if it's Christmas or Eastern, or if you are in another religion. The point here is that we are no longer remembering the basics for these holidays, and we turn them into festivals of abundance. Sometimes the same applies on birthdays. There is too much. So this card tells you to give it back its rightful place. It tells you also to learn about, if you have the time, or if you're not, it urges you to do so, to look for the origins of these things. For Christmas, for Easter, for Valentine's Day, some days you give present. It tells you to reflect about these things and to inform yourself about their real value and their real meaning. As I said earlier, it's not important if your religion is connected to it or your belief. So you need to put those things in their historical context, and you need to put them back in their place, rather than to see them in overconsumption. It tells you also not to be fooled by excuse me, by marketing for these holidays. Excuse me. The gifts are only meant to be an expression of feelings. It's not about the gift, how big the gift is, how much it costs. It's about the idea, the attention. And sometimes also a big gift is also time. If you give your loved ones time, it's also sometimes a much appreciated gift. Maybe this fits better in this whole context. Anyway, it's not about quantity or the price, but it's the attention that you give to the loved one. That's the most important here. I don't say you cannot give gifts, but it tells you to put them in their right place, because maybe in the future you gave them a lot of gifts, because we come to the next card, and this card is social pressure. It's related to the other one if we put it in context. By nature, we are human beings, and we compare ourselves constantly to the neighbor, to the person who lives next door, to the whole community. And this one determines our place in society, our place in relationship to others. We operate in a society of overconsumption. Wherever we are, in some places in the world, that's not so, but mostly in most places of the world, there is overconsumption. Your friends, neighbors are driving around in a brand new luxurious car. They buy the latest new motorcycle. They're wearing nice clothes. And you, for your part, you ask yourself, how do they get there? How do they reach the end of the month without any debts? How do they manage this? This card tells you not let yourself to be fooled. We make choices every day, and you are the one in charge, you are the one responsible. So then don't let appearances fool you. This is what this card tells you. What look as a nice gift in the outside is not necessarily what it seems. It tells you to lead according to your own needs, your own abilities, and your own points of view of life. You need to define yourself socially by your personality and your accomplishments. These are more important than your clothes or new car or a new motorcycle. It's all not important. That what is important is that you resist to the social pressure and you go your own path in life. So we make a summary. Just be happy with the achievements that you made so far in life. Write them down. Be happy with the achievements that you made. If you give presents to people with Christmas or holidays, put them in their context and value them as they are. Sometimes time is the nicest gift we can give to people that we can. For loved ones, for anyone, for friends, it's a much appreciated gift, sometimes more than a nice ring. And the last card is the social pressure. Don't let yourself fool by social pressure, things you see in your environment. Go your own way, do your own thing. That is what this laying here tells you for the month of July. So, Taurus, Stone Group, I hope you are happy with this card reading for the month of July 2021. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to you people from the Air group or the Aerosol group here. So the first card that you see here, it represents a bonus. This probably means that in the short time that is passed now, maybe in the last weeks, you received some form of bonus, you received additional money from your work or from some organization. This tells me here that you received a substantial amount of money as a bonus. Maybe also it can speak to a monthly bonus that is coming back on regular basis if you achieve certain quotas. It can also be a gift that you get from parents or people close to you. That can also be the case here. And wherever they come from, the amounts that we receive here are welcome. It doesn't matter where they come from. But the question asked here is, what are you doing with this money? Maybe if you receive this monthly bonus, or you receive this bonus one time, it's like an unexpected, if it's an unexpected sum, you tend to spend it actually before it's in your wallet. Maybe for some people here in the group, it's already spent before it's actually reached where it needs to go. You need to pay credit card debts, or maybe you buy a gem for a loved one, or whatever. Or yourself, you deserved, you give yourself a gift, you go to a beauty parlor, you give an advance to a new motorcycle, or a new object, a new computer, whatever it is. So the money is not it's not actually saved. So it means maybe you need to redirect these bonuses. And maybe instead of spending them before you receive it, you need to put it in a savings account and let it stay there for a while. Let it take its time. If you put it there, it's not going to run anywhere. It's going to stay right in the savings account where it is. So this card tells you, if you have that additional money, let it take a break. Let it sit there. Think about the exact amounts that you received and think about for optimizing its use. Also, you will avoid buying impulsively. That's what it tells you here. Sometimes the bonuses are gone before we receive them, and eventually we end up in a worse situation because we spend more than we actually didn't receive the bonus. You get my drift. This is what this card means. The next card here is, this is about well-organized spending, meaning this card asks you if you spend a lot of money on others. Maybe it's in context with this card. So think about it. Was this really necessary? Will your nephews, your children, your wife love you less if you don't pamper them so much? It asks you to know the real impact of these purchases on your daily life. Maybe you see it as a charity, but charity starts by ourselves. Maybe here an important lesson is to be learned about spending money. Maybe it tells you you need to keep your generosity under control. Maybe the generosity, if you don't, it can lead you to problems. If I combine this with the bonuses, just invest the money in something that is substantial for you before you give it to others. Secure your own future, the future of your children, a pension plan, build up a safety cushion, a safety net. This is what this card tells you. With the bonuses that you receive, you see here, there are eggs. Keep the eggs in the basket, keep them where they are. And don't buy things that are not essential, that are not necessary. If you do so, these two cards tell you for the coming months, especially you can start with this in July, you will establish a nice wallet who will allow you to become more solid. And maybe if you organize it well, you can be more generous in later times to come. So this card tells you now to think about yourself, your family, the ones close to you, for keeping the money where it is. This is what these two cards tell you. The third card here, it represents the respect that we have for the little amounts of money. Meaning, in our daily life, coins don't have value. $1, 50 cents, 25 cents, they don't have value anymore. We treat them as disposable. But for many people, $1 that live in difficult circumstances, this dollar can mean the difference between eating and not eating. So this card tells you that you need to respect the small amounts of money that you have. Maybe you pay little attention to small amounts that are in your pocket and you treat them not as they should have rightfully treated. Don't forget, if you collect a lot of them, 1 time, 10 times 100 makes 1,000. So you need to realize the financial impact of small amounts of money. Think about it and give your attention to it. Take a critical look at invoices. Also, maybe you catch yourself, even you don't check anymore if a certain amount of the invoice is discounted. So this asks you to pay attention to small amounts of money that might be disappearing. I'm not saying they are stolen, but maybe you don't pay attention to them anymore. So if you buy something also, it tells you to look at the articles, for instance, in a supermarket, to look at them and ask about their necessity. Was it really necessary to buy these small articles that don't really are necessary for you? So maybe you need to reevaluate this and give it back its rightful place. So if we put this here in context, I think here this whole laying is about, I think you hear this group received a lot of bonuses the last time. We need to reorganize these bonuses for our own welfare on the long run. And we need to reorganize small amounts of money that may be disappearing or that we let go of, that we should also put in the basket here. That's what I think this laying for Taurus for July 2020 is about. So Taurus, think about the whole concept here, appreciate your money, be happy with the bonuses that you receive, and I wish you a very nice month of July. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to the people of the Shell Group or the Water Group. The first card you see here is paying cash. What does that mean? This card asks you if you still pay cash or you pay with credit card. If you pay in cash, this card tells you you have a much better overview. A simple way to pay cash is you go to a bank machine and you get the money and you put it in your wallet the old-fashioned way. It gives you a better overview because you actually touch the money and you pay with the money. With the bank card, there is more distance. You don't actually see the amount, but if you pay the cashier, you actually have the money in your hands and the feeling is different. The experience is different. That is what this card tells you. You're also able to calculate your expenses exactly. Maybe even you have the urge to check your bill when the cashier gives it to you because you paid, you double check. Maybe you're surprised by the amount. So this card tells you to regain better control over your finances, to pay cash only and put the money that you use for stores or for payment cash only. As I said, it's a psychological thing. You will find it more painful. I don't know if this is the right description, but we call it painful to overhand your paper money bills instead of paying the bank card. Because you actually see the banknotes disappearing out of your wallet. So unconsciously, you make some kind of connection between the two. So it also will prevent you for buying unnecessities. If we think about it, it's no coincidence that traders and banks, they want you not to use paper money because psychologically, we are tending to spend more. We live in a society where everybody wants to buy, and consumption is constantly increasing in normal conditions. But so the virtual payment is essential because it makes you lose track. But you don't lose track if you use the money in the old-fashioned way. So this card tells you to take charge of your wallet and pay cash for the things for the coming month. So it tells you you will regain more control over your money. So this card asks you, do you want to take the challenge for paying cash again, the old-fashioned way? The next card we have here is the card of overconsumption. What does that tell us? Well, we live in a world of overconsumption, and we are daily confronted. These two cards relate to consumption and overconsumption. So we are daily confronted with advertisement, and maybe you're a little bit blurred of the definition of essential obligations. It's no longer like we are in the time of our parents and our grandparents, because these people were aspired to provide for basic needs. But things are changed, we are evolved, and essential things include now, as you see here, cell phones, laptops, smartphones, tablets. So our essential needs are changed. Internet is part of our reality and our daily life. And for many of us in normal circumstances, we also travel. Meaning society has evolved. The essentials have changed. So this card asks you to evaluate your real needs in this whole new context, in the new society that we have come in now in a short amount of time. Also, we evolved in a short amount of time because of Corona. It relates also to it. And the question that asked here also, if you buy things, non-essential things, are you more happy than your grandparents or your parents? This is the question also that has been asked here to you. Maybe if we buy things, the computer can still go on for 6 months. And it's like a drug. It's like something we fuel and it blurs our perspective. Some of us are collapsing under the pressure here. We lose sight of the very essence of life. Sometimes hyperconsumption, it blinds people to happiness. So it asks you also to determine and evaluate the things that you have, put them in their place. Maybe you can do for them for a while, respect your minimum needs, and estimate your non-essential expenses. The question is, would it make you unhappy if you do 1 year longer with your car? If you do 6 months longer with your laptop, would it make you more unhappy? Or if you extend your new cell phone for another 6 months? That is the question asked here. It asks you to learn according to your needs and not what society or pressure or the advertisement tells you. Your wallet and your mind will feel better with this if you apply this. The last card relates to the previous one. It's about publicity. So this tells us that advertisement is everywhere in our life, and it tells us not be influenced by advertisements. We are constantly exposed to advertisements on the net, on buses, everywhere we go, there is publicity from this, from that. It's like a bombardment we get in our visual bombardment. It's like a propaganda, and it's everywhere. So for some of us, it's easy to get fooled and imagine needs that are actually non-essential. For some of us, it makes us feel confused. So this card wants you to realize that this is marketing pressure, pressure from society. So if you're sensitive to it, it asks you to stop, and if you can, ignore flyers, publicity. If you can, use an ad blocker, stop searching for gadgets, do a little bit longer with your cell phone, drive another year with your car, and compare your situation with times of your grandparents. That's what it said here also. Take a critical look rather than being envious about certain trends. That is what this card tells you. If you do so, you will see this whole thing in a different context. It tells you to actually think about yourself and keep your money close to you. This is what it tells you, not to overconsume, not to be influenced, and touch your money as it is. As Taurus like to touch things, so touch your money and keep it close to you. This is what this card reading says here for Taurus, for the water group, July 2021. So that's all for this month, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed my card reading. If you do so, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.